Not unconditional love, but unconditional positive regard. It's quite similar, but it's not quite the same, and this is specifically for the therapy or counselling relationship. You're probably wondering what it is, so keep watching to find out. So this is a continuation of the series I've done on the core conditions: empathy, congruence, and now unconditional positive regard, also known as UPR for short, because who's got time to be saying unconditional positive regard every single time? Anyways, so this is the Counselling 101 segment, and today we're going to talk about UPR. So this lovely man called Carl Rogers came up with these 3 core conditions because he believed that they were essential to the counselling relationship in order for it to thrive. So in short, it means that a client is received openly regardless of what they've done or said, without judgment. This does not mean that the counsellor or the therapist accepts and agrees with what the client has done, but simply means that they are able to listen and talk about it without judging them, and just allowing them to express themselves and talk about what they've done without being ridiculed or being judged or being accused or being blamed for anything, because that will shut the client down from being able to fully express themselves. You know, clients may come that have committed a crime and they've gone to jail for it, and it's something that you feel very strongly about, something that's affected you, and you might definitely hate it or not like it, but that does not mean that the client is defined by what they've done. It just simply means that the client is allowed to speak about it without then being judged again when they've already been judged and gone to prison. So it just means, I guess, putting aside your personal feelings and opinions in the room and just saying, you know what, speak about it and let's talk about it. That doesn't mean that I accept it or believe it or agree with it. So what does UPR look like in the therapy room? So a client might say, I really hate my brother. Every time we fight, I actually really want to knock him out so that he dies because he frustrates me so much. I just hate his guts. So the counsellor might feel like, well, this is extreme. They might have a really good relationship with their brothers, and they might think, well, this sounds very, very serious, and I definitely don't agree with violence in the home. I never grew up with violence in the house, and I just see it as completely crazy. So the counsellor might respond, it seems like you have more than just anger towards your brother. This doesn't mean the counsellor agrees with the fight or comments on whether they think the fighting is correct or whether the fighting is bad. It's not the counsellor's place to comment on what they think of the action. It's the counsellor's job to focus on the feelings. That's why they said, oh, it seems like you have more than just anger towards your brother, because he's talking about he wants his brother to die. He wants to knock his brother out so he blacks out. You know, focus on the feelings, not the action itself. As much as we might all think, yeah, that's a very bad thing to feel towards your brother or to want to do to your brother, that's not the focal point here. Okay, so the counsellor here, by saying that, is being curious and is being non-judgmental. And this then makes the client feel like, okay, so they're not judging me for wanting to kill my brother. I can keep talking and explaining where this feeling is coming from, and they feel free to express themselves because we didn't respond with a judgment or a, that is so bad, why do you want to do that to your brother? It's not like that, and that's not what you're supposed to do. The moment a counsellor brings judgment into the room, it shuts the client down, or the client gets immediately very defensive, and therefore they don't feel like they can continue to speak freely, and they might not even turn up to their next session. So you have to be very careful to focus on the feelings rather than the behavior sometimes, because that's where you'll find the solution for the behavior. If you focus on understanding the feeling and the root of the feeling, then the outward behavior changes. And you probably can relate to this. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't share deep thoughts and feelings, because they're scared of being judged. We're scared of being accused and blamed of thinking bad thoughts, having bad wishes. Oh, I wish so and so would die. We're scared that our thoughts and our feelings about stuff is too dark, too ugly, too embarrassing to share. We're scared of judgment. So it's important that the counsellor then doesn't do that same thing in the counselling room. So that is unconditional positive regard. That means despite what you bring, I'm not going to bring conditions as to what you can and can't share. I don't have the condition of you can only bring stuff that's good and safe. I don't have any conditions about what we can talk about, and I don't have any conditions as to what I will allow you to speak about in the room. That's why it's unconditional positive regard. That means nothing is off limits, and I will be unconditionally open to hearing what you have to say without judging you. That's how powerful unconditional positive regard is. In your life, I challenge you to possibly, when somebody in your life brings something to you, don't say, oh my gosh, that's horrible, why did you do that? Ask them why they did it. Ask what they were feeling. try to focus on the feeling behind the behavior rather than just the behavior and judging the behavior, because then people will start lying. Oh, I didn't really do, you know, I was joking, oh, it wasn't that serious, I promise. Because then people are starting to, you know, close their shell, they're starting to hide again because they've been judged. So that's what the power of unconditional positive regard is, and that's what happens in the counselling room. So I'm sorry if you've ever met a counsellor who has not been unconditional in their response to you, but have been judgy and have been critical of you. I'm really sorry if that's ever happened to you, because when a counsellor applies UPR in the right way, it has so many benefits, not just to you but to them as well. And so practice this in your daily life and see how much more enriching and insightful the conversations you have with people in your life will be. Oh, by the way, if you didn't already know, I'm on TikTok and I do short little videos which are usually either very funny or informative, and they're like bite-sized information videos because they're on TikTok. And so follow me on there, Cee The Counsellor. I did a video on the other two core conditions, empathy and congruence, so be sure to watch those, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye. Thank you for watching.